चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा माह्यं दधाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहाघन रघुनाथवित्वं तं साजिवं सद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजानसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादन् सह घनललिता विशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेस्य गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते।
Okay, 1 minute, Mataji.
Yeah. तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji. That was very well, nicely recited. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's because all of us, we just take chances to, just recite, and as we keep doing it,
Yes,
it'll be
Prabhu.
wonderful. And you've done it very well. So thank you very
Thank
much,
you, Prabhu.
Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
So very nice. Yeah, Prabhuji, anyone would like to sing the Jai Radha Madhava?
Paritosh Prabhuji.
Yeah, he can actually, Paritosh Prabhuji.
Paritosh Prabhuji, please sing Radha Jai Radha Madhavan Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhuji, if it is okay with you.
Hello, Hare Krishna. Can you just put it on for me, please?
Hey, Paritosh Prabhu, would you be able to sing this one?
Sing it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think so. I can only say what's there. Is it more than that?
It is this one, but
Okay,
in a
that's
like in
fine.
a bhajan form.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihar Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kapitana Vallabha Giridhari Jasodhanandana Vrajadana Janjana Jaya Jamuna Pirana Vanachari. I don't know whether I was supposed to repeat more than that.
Yeah, and then that's it. I mean, then Hare Krishna if you want to. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Paritosh Prabhu. That was really nice, actually. First time
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
First time actually.
I know you can do it actually. It's just like sometimes unless we just go and do the bhajan, because it reminds me of when I used to be when I was given this chance of singing the bhajan as well. And I was in the beginning, I was thinking, oh, can I even do it kind of thing, but all of us go through this journey. But once we make a first step, just if you do it once,
Yeah,
next time we feel like, yeah, well, I think not bad. Let me do it again. So
yeah,
there's
exactly.
there's there's
Yeah,
always
thank
a
you.
first time, but you did
Yeah,
it pretty well, actually. Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
thank you.
Paritosh Prabhu.
That's right, Prabhuji sings very nice. So that tune is very coming devotionally and very
Yeah.
rhythmically as well. Very beautiful.
Well, yeah,
Prabhuji, can
last
you
week,
sing for 2 more minutes? Hare Krishna
thank you.
Mahamantra, Prabhuji.
On Sunday, Shyam Prabhu and I sang together on the same mic, which was quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, I
beautiful.
mean,
Yeah,
that that's what our devotees are for. We had to share with each other, and we had to give our experiences with each other, shoulder to shoulder. We had to always be there for each other.
yeah,
Krishna
yeah,
consciousness is a community where like it's growing, but at the same time, like understanding this the message of Krishna and following this Panchatattva and like, things like that. Not many people do outside, so we are a
yeah,
community where we had to be strong and supportive with each other. So that's
yeah,
that's when we can grow more and more. And the only because outside people think like, oh, why are these people so devotional and things like that. So the only support that we'll happiness we look at is in the devotee community to be
mhm,
there for each other and just support. See how fortunate we are. We devotees from Canada and from here and different parts of UK. Prabhuji is joining from York, and we are here in close to London. And so it's such a wonderful opportunity for all of us to come together. Um,
yes, yes.
Hare Krishna, Vrindavan Prabhuji.
Dandavad
Thank
Pranam,
you.
Shyam Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. I'm well now. This is your mercy.
Uh,
And last Sunday, you're giving mercy, then as well. It's good.
uh,
Devotee mercy is a very important thing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was so always wonderful to see you as well. So joyful. Um, Somehow, fortunately, as one of the devotee was saying, Pitri Prabhu, yeah, once he said, if we really know how fortunate we are come to Krishna consciousness, we'll really faint. The thing is like we don't realize like how fortunate we are actually that to be coming here together and sharing about Krishna consciousness. Not many people have this opportunity. On that note, Amoga Prabhuji, with your permission, maybe we can just dive in all permission with all of our devotees.
Yes, Prabhuji, please, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so let's go ahead with our Krishna Katha, and I'll just do a quick prayer for myself and for the Lordship. तप्तकंचना गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिय हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपीशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओ ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. As we always mention before the Krishna Katha, a beautiful sloka from Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling us that when we hear about Krishna, Krishna's appearance, Krishna's leelas, they're all so auspicious and they're so transcendental that towards the end of our life we go back to Krishna Loka by just listening to Krishna Katha. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti takritaha chakta deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjana. There is no next birth for devotees who are listening to Krishna Katha because they accumulate so much of piety that the next destination would be Krishna Loka. So we have to take comfort in that mercy of Krishna, that Krishna is so kind that just by even listening, one form of devotion, that is Shravanam, listening, it is that Shravanam, that Rukmini Devi, even before she seen Krishna, she just heard about Krishna and she became so much in love with Krishna that she sends a letter to Krishna saying that I'm only going to marry you. If I don't marry you also, I will wait till my next life, but I'm going to marry you. So that's the power of listening from a pure devotee like like Narada Muni. And it's the same like Bhakta Prahalad also who listened to Narad Muni. So Shravanam is something very, very important. Listening, hearing the Krishna Katha or hearing the Bhagavad Gita, that is something which is very, very important because it is this Krishna Katha and it is the chanting of the holy name which actually purifies our consciousness. So we were very fortunate to be in the association of devotees. So we actually started off with chapter number 72, the liberation of King Jarasandha. And this is a continuation that is happening from last chapter. When the last chapter we spoke about the messenger who came on behalf of Jarasandha, asking Krishna to come and please release all the kings who have been imprisoned by Jarasandha. And then we also seen Narada Muni coming and inviting Krishna to attend the Rajasuya sacrifice, which is being conducted by King Yudhishthira. And then we also seen that Lord Krishna was asking Uddhava what is the best thing for him to do. And then Uddhava also mentioned that the best thing is to first eliminate or kill the Jarasandha, who's actually imprisoned all the kings. And also he suggested that Bhima, one of the Pandavas, should be engaged because he's got a similar strength as Jarasandha, the strength of many elephants. So it can be a one-on-one between Bhimsen, one of the Pandavas, and between Jarasandha. And also Uddhava suggested that it should happen in your presence because Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Pardo Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti Dhruvanitir Matirmama. So wherever there's Krishna and wherever there's devotee, there's going to be victory. So that's what Uddhava suggests, and Krishna agrees to that, and taking the and doing all the formalities as we always seen Krishna so nicely as a king of Dwarka, even though he's the Lord of all the lords, Devadi Deva, the supreme personality of Godhead. But Krishna, when he was there as the king of Dwarka, he was doing everything to perfection. Every role is being done to perfection. So he does all the ritualistic respects, he offers them to Narada Muni, and then having taken counsel, then he calls his Dwarka and his driver, and then along with all the queens, he goes to Hastinapur. And we seen that when Yudhishthira was so happy to hear that Krishna is coming, and he makes all the great elaborate arrangements in Hastinapur, and then Krishna nicely receives all of, I mean, they all receive Krishna very nicely, and they exchange a lot of love and things like that. And we seen that even Kunti Devi, she was so happy to see Krishna over there. So it's a beautiful arrangement. We can bring to mind how opulent it was. And as we always say, a lot of people think that India is a very poor country, but if you can trace back to the times of Dwapara Yuga, we can see that how opulent it was. In fact, it was always opulent. It's only due to the invasions that the land of Bharat was gone down. But again, like a circle, it's coming back. Um, so we've seen that. So this Leela is continuing now. We see the chapter is titled as Liberation of King Jarasandha. And we also seen that Yudhishthira nicely addressing in the presence of all of them, that Lord Krishna, that sacrifice of Rajasuya is being performed, and it is being done for to satisfy all the demigods and who are empowered representative. So the very important thing is for people through Bhagavad Gita and through the Krishna Katha, sometimes it's very important for us to take notes on to what is the message that we can learn from Krishna Katha. What is it, the takeaway that we can, one of the important takeaway is to understand that not all gods are the same. There are demigods or there are devatas who are doing certain responsibilities on the orders of Krishna. And by just worshipping the devatas, you don't go to Krishna. You go to the planet of the devatas. Yeah. Yanti deva vrata bevam prityanti pritirata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti majyajinopi mam. Krishna makes it very, very clear, absolutely crystal clear that those who worship the devatas they go to the planet of the devatas. Those who worship ancestors, they go to the planet of ancestors. And those who worship ghosts and spirits, they will be born among them. And those who worship Krishna, they will go back to the Krishna Loka. So it is very clear. Krishna is laying out the cards very nicely, crystal clear. And the Pandavas had this knowledge that they're doing this demigods with the understanding that they are representatives within this material world. Varuna, Chandra, Surya, they're all representatives and doing a certain function. In fact, Krishna mentions that Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktava Naham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manu Rikvaka. That Arjuna, this Bhagavad Gita first is spoken to the sun god Vivaswan. Many times in the temple, sometimes I put up saying that, can you tell whom did Bhagavad Gita spoke for the first time? And everybody is like, Arjuna, right? No. Oh, Uddhava. Then they come up with some of the Pandavas, or maybe Bhishma. I'm not like, no, 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 none of these things. First, it was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan, and sun god passed it on to Manu, and Manu passed it on to Ikshvaku. So sometimes they're like surprised. Oh, we didn't know that. We thought only Arjuna was the first person to listen. So like that, what Bhagavad Gita gives us is clarity. And also, one of the important thing that also Krishna mentions, Antavattu palam tesham tadbhavate alpamedasham devan deva yajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planet of the demigods, and those who worship me, devotees, they reach my supreme planet. So this is what Krishna is trying to make it very, very clear, that the distinction between worshipping devatas and Krishna is not is absolutely clear. Krishna is making it very, very clear. At the same time, Krishna is so kind that he never restricts. If somebody is worshiping with devatas, he says, I'm the one sitting in your heart and making your faith strong in that devata. But I want you to just understand that even though you're worshipping that devata and getting all your desires fulfilled, you should know you should know it absolutely clear that actually whatever benefits the devatas are giving you is actually coming from me. So Krishna is saying, I'm the source from where all the benedictions. So if Lord Ganesha is removing your obstacles and you're praying to him, I am the one who's making your faith strong in Ganesha. But remember that power to Ganesha to remove the obstacles, it is coming from me. Pavitranam Pavitram yo. So Krishna says in Vishnu Sahasranamam that he's the one, he's a Pavitranam. So he's the one who gives the power of Ganges to remove all the sins. He's the one who gives the power of to Ganesha to remove all the obstacles like that. Yeah, so that's one of the thing which I just wanted to just remember, which from the Pandavas, as we were saying. So here Pandavas are very clear. They're just worshipping to do just doing the dharma. They're just worshipping because they're empowered representatives. Like sometimes, the foreign minister goes to other countries on behalf of the prime minister, So he's nicely received, but the foreign country which is receiving the foreign minister knows that okay, he's just representing the prime minister, but he's not the prime minister. He's come in a certain position as a foreign minister because that's his duty to engage with other countries. So similarly, the demigod, they have a function that we have in the material world. This is what their job to do. So that is what they. And as you say in the Bhagavad Gita, persons bewildered by material desires worship the demigod, but my purpose is different. I want to perform this Rajasi Hagrid and invite the demigods to show that there is no power independent of. So here, the message is different. The message is to invite all of them to show that there is no power that is independent of Krishna, because Krishna is the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. Aham Sirvasi Prabhuva Mata Sarvam Pravarte Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha. I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds, and everything is emanating from me. So that is what Krishna is trying to mention over here, and which, as you can see over here, Yudhishthira is so very, very clear about this. Um, and is very clear that all the devatas who are being invited, they have no power independent. They have been designated with the power, and they're all servants, and they're serving Krishna. But foolish people with a poor fund of knowledge consider your lordship as an honor. So as we seen, Krishna mentions on Bhagavad Gita also, people who are like do not have any knowledge. They think that Krishna has come in the as an ordinary human being, but they do not know Krishna's higher power, that he is the supreme lord of all the planets and all the devatas, that he is the supreme to all the devatas as well as to all the pranas. In fact, that's what is been mentioned in chapter number 5. Bhoktaram yajana tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatamam shanti. We will be peaceful when we understand that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. We will be happy when we understand that I am not the enjoyer. It is Bhagwan Sri Krishna. He is the supreme enjoyer, and he is the lord of all the devatas, that he is the one who's running all the planets. So when we have that understanding, because in this material world, we are always centering around I, me, myself, and we get frustrated with that. But when we understand that I am not the enjoyer, I am an eternal servant of the Lord, and which is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us this message that I am an eternal servant of the Lord. Jivera Swarupa Haya Nitya Krishna Das, that I am an eternal servant of the Lord. That is the actual constitutional position of all the Jivatmas. So having said that, so I just wanted to, maybe we can just get started off. Anyone would like to read this?
I'll do it.
Hare Krishna.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm here today. If that's
Go ahead.
okay. Okay, where are we starting from there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'm usually late, but I'm here today. Right, can you hear me all, yeah?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Be a bit louder if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah. My dear Lord, those who are constantly in Krishna consciousness and will think of your lotus feet or your shoes are certainly free from all contamination of material life. Such persons who engage in your service in full Krishna consciousness, who meditate upon you only and offer prayers unto you, are purified souls. Being constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, conscious service, they are freed from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Or even if they do not want to be free from this material existence, but desire to enjoy material opulences, their desires are also fulfilled by their Krishna conscious activities. In fact, those who are pure devotees of your lotus feet have no desire for material opulences. As far as we are concerned, we are fully surrendered unto your lotus feet, and by your grace, we are so fortunate as to see you personally. Therefore, naturally, we have no desire for material opulences. The verdict of the Vedic wisdom is that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I want to establish this fact, and I also want to show the world the difference between accepting you as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Personality of Godhead and accepting you as an ordinary, powerful, historical person. I wish to show the world that one can attain the highest perfection of life simply by taking shelter at your lotus feet, exactly as one can satisfy the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers of an entire tree, simply by watering the root. If one takes to Krishna consciousness, his life becomes fulfilled both materially and spiritually. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Beautifully
Krishna.
written.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Beautifully
Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much. So one of the things, as you can see in the last, like worshipping Krishna is like watering the roots of a tree. Krishna is called as Avatari, so the root of all the avatars. He's the source of all the avatars, and everything is emanating from Krishna. And that's why Krishna says very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Time and again I come in different incarnations. So it is Krishna as Avatari who's taking different avatars and coming into this material world. And worshipping Krishna is like watering the roots of a tree. All the incarnation is so indirectly you're worshipping all the devatas. There's no need to specifically worship each and every devata. It's just like watering each and every leaf and flower. But instead of that, if you water the roots, we know that it goes to all the branches and the leaves. Similarly, by worshipping Krishna, all the devatas every become pleased. In fact, in manner, when we do the Gomata Puja, we know that all the devatas reside inside the cow. But instead of going and glorifying the devatas, but if you, instead of that, if you glorify Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who's the Lord of all the devatas, then automatically the devatas will become pleased. Just like how the leaves and flowers, they're all nourished by watering the roots. Everybody becomes pleased, and that's why in ISKCON, in our Watford temple, we try to do the Go Puja, and we kind of circumambulate around the cow, chanting the names of Hare Krishna, because Krishna is being glorified out there. Lord Vishnu is being glorified. And indirectly, all the devatas are being pleased by doing that. So we have to understand that we are watering the roots by coming to Krishna consciousness. It's just like watering the roots of a tree. And you can see that how, from this paragraph, you can see that how Yudhishthira, just like a pure devotee of the Lord, is always interested in glorifying the Lord. He wants to glorify the Lord. And that's what Krishna says, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatanchasta dridavata namasyantasta mam bhaktya nitya yukta upashata. My devotees are always chanting my glories. This is what the Pandavas, why the Pandavas were so dear to Krishna. Because whatever you see in Bhagavad Gita, you can see live in action in the Pandavas. They were always glorifying Krishna. They're always thinking of Krishna all the time. When Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhakta majjadimam namaskuru mami vaisasi yuktvaivam atmanam madparayana. Four things you have to do in order to attain Krishna. Engage your mind always in thinking of Krishna, becoming a devotee of Krishna, offering obeisances to Krishna, and worshipping Krishna. So all these four things you can see in the Pandavas. They were engaging the mind. They were always thinking of Krishna. How can we serve Krishna? Calling him from Rajaswikram, depending on Krishna. And they were great devotees of Krishna. They were always glorifying and looking up to Krishna. And they were chanting his names and always they're thinking of Krishna as a dear friend, offering their obeisances and worshipping in every way. So all these things we can see sometimes Bhagavad Gita so nicely ties with Srimad Bhagavatam because Bhagavad Gita tells the theory out there and Bhagavatam shows practically that this is how the devotees are thinking of. Here we can see that even though he's inviting the devatas, but that is the purpose to understand, to tell the world that how they are just representatives of Krishna and it is Krishna that's the supreme, he's the supreme. And also the understanding that Yudhishthira is talking about the people who are constantly thinking of Krishna consciousness, that they'll be free from all the contamination of material life, which is why I said in the beginning that Janma Karma Cha Medevi, if you think of the Krishna's pastimes and all that, they'll be completely purified of all this material life, completely purified. That's why it is said, Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Siddho Nityamutto Abhinnatvam Nami Namine. That this name of Hare Krishna, there's no difference between seeing Krishna and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's like a wish fulfilling gem, and it is completely pure, without any touch of materialism at all. It's in the most purified state. So when we are chanting, it will purify our consciousness also. It will be freed from all the contamination of material. There's no, because this Hare Krishna Mahamantra has no contamination of anything in this material world. When we come into this material world, our consciousness is covered by this, is controlled by these three gunas. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sharvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham itmanyata. Krishna says that we out of ego, we think we are the doers, but actually we are covered by these three gunas which are influencing us. But this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so pure that if we take to the thinking of Krishna and chanting his name, we'll be purified of all this contamination. And here he's talking about serving Krishna, who meditate upon Krishna and offer, they are your purified souls. Exactly, like as I was mentioning, your consciousness is purified of those who are thinking about Krishna, meditating on Krishna, and engaging in bhakti, service towards Krishna. And they'll be freed from the cycle of birth and death. So, all these things which are mentioned over here, you can see just in one particular sloka that Krishna is mentioned, that by thinking about his divine pastimes and all this, you'll be freed from the cycle of birth and death. And all the desires are fulfilled by Krishna conscious activity. So it is not that Krishna conscious devotees are like struggling hard or anything. They are enjoying the highest level of spiritual enjoyment by doing kirtans and serving Krishna, enjoying Krishna prasadam. These are all, our desires are getting fulfilled. So basically, Krishna consciousness is a way of purifying our consciousness by shifting from material desires to spiritual desires, and trying to engage ourselves in spiritual desires. Means we are when you have a material desire, it's all about satisfying your senses. Spiritual desires about satisfying Krishna's senses, and he's called as Rishikesha, the master of all our senses. So if we are trying to purify our consciousness by serving Krishna, then indirectly, because he is our master of senses, when Krishna is pleased, our senses are also be completely satisfied. So that is why, and here and the Pandavas are fully surrendered to lotus feet of Krishna. And we've seen in Bhagavad Gita also how Arjuna surrenders to Krishna, right? It was such a turning point of Bhagavad Gita. Karpanyo dosho pahata swabhavaha prachama tvam dharma sammura chetaha yashreyashan nishitan bruhitan me sissasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. Where Arjuna is saying, Krishna, I do not know what is the right thing for me. From now on, I consider you, I'm surrendering to you. I'm no more considering you as my friend. You are my guru. And please instruct me what is the right thing for me to do. So the Pandavas have shown how to surrender to the Lord. And so, and the Pandavas are so fortunate that they were able to see Krishna in person, embrace him and hug him. And obviously, when you have when your desires are completely spiritualized and then you do not have any other material opulences at all. You are not interested in anything at all. Because why? Because you have a higher taste. That's why one of our books in ISKCON is called as Higher Taste, isn't it? Because when the devotees are eating Krishna Prasadam, when the devotees are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they're having a higher enjoyment, a higher taste. Visaya vinivartante neraharasya dehinaha rasavajyam rasapasta param drisva nivarte. Param drisva, when you have a higher taste, then you will give up your lower taste. And this is what this is all about. When we have no desire for material appearances means, why there is no desire for material appearances? Now they have such a higher taste for spiritual appearances of serving Krishna that they have no more desire for material appearances. And this is what is happening with the devotees. Once they get a taste of Krishna consciousness, they're no more interested in all the mundane things. They want to only hear about Krishna. So here he wanted to express the basic fact, the wording of the Vedic wisdom, that Krishna is the supreme Lord. And where is mentioned in Bhagavan Sri Krishna about this Vedic wisdom? Lord, we can hear from in Bhagavad Gita also. Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham riti sannavisto matasmitir jnanam apoham cha vedaisya sarva raham eva vedo vedanta krud veda vid eva chaham. I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. So you see how nicely Bhagavad Gita is tying with Bhagavatam. Of there Krishna says, of all the Vedas, I am to be known. Meaning the purpose of reading Veda is to understand that Bhagavan Sri Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And this is what the devotees want to establish here. Here the verdict of the Vedic is that you are the Supreme Lord. And I want to establish. So this is the thing, you see. Vedas are saying that, and Krishna is saying that, and now the devotees want to emphasize on that. They want to establish fact, and they want to show the difference between here Krishna as the supreme Lord and how he's different from the ordinary person, powerful historical person. So in history, you may have so many people, but there is a difference between the Supreme Lord and his leelas and ordinary leelas, ordinary pastimes of any other person. So when even he may be a greatest historical person, but when he does some activities, they're called as karmic activities. But when Lord Krishna comes, what he does are leelas. And you can see the consciousness of Yudhishthira. He wants to establish to the world. He wants to give the narrative to the world that one can attain highest perfection of life by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And so this is something for us to understand, that when we come to Krishna consciousnness, it means that we have passed through all the hurdles in life. We have come to the highest peak. It's like if somebody is climbing Everest, there could be somebody who has climbed about 100 feet, somebody could have climbed 1,000 meters, somebody could have 10,000 meters. But imagine somebody who has gone to the almost to the peak of Everest. He's in a different, all of them are climbing, but one person has reached the top. So similarly in bhakti life, taking to the conscious Krishna consciousness is the highest perfection of life, because there is nothing beyond Krishna. And this is what Krishna is also emphasizing. Mata paratam nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre maniganaiva. Arjuna, there is nothing which is above Krishna. There is no truth superior to Krishna. Krishna is the supreme Lord, and everything, the whole cosmic universe, Krishna mentions very clearly, just like a beautiful pearls necklace, we know that there is a thread that is holding this beautiful necklace. Like that, this whole cosmic universe is being running because there's Krishna who's actually behind all of these things. So, such a beautiful way that Yudhishthira is trying to glorify Krishna with the purpose of conducting this Rajasuya sacrifice. So, his intention, this is the thing, right? It's all about, even if you're like you seen in Krishna Katha, the gopis, they're going and worshipping Katyayani. Why? They're worshipping Katyayani for a purpose to marry Krishna. So even if they go to others also, the purpose is Krishna. So they're always, Krishna is in the center of the life of the devotees. And this is what Krishna consciousness is. Yat karosi, yat asnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kusumadama. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, everything keeping Krishna in the center. It is not only that just we are offering some flowers and fruits to Krishna, but we are offering our karmic activities, everything, whatever we are doing, even our activities that we are doing, we are doing it as an offering to Krishna. Then it gets spiritualized. So this is Krishna consciousness, which is nicely be getting to know through Yudhishthira. Anyone, can I ask anyone can read this one next? The next paragraph?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Babuji. Can I go
Yeah,
ahead?
yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, what you would like to read? Yeah.
Yeah, I will go ahead. This does not mean that you are partial to the Krishna consciousness person, an indefinite different to the non-Krishna conscious person. You are equal to everyone. That is your declaration. You cannot be partial to one and not interested in the others, for you sit in everyone's heart as the super soul and give everyone the respective results of its fruitive activities. You give every living entity the chance to enjoy this material world as he desired. As the super soul, you sit in the body with the living entity, giving him the results of his own action as well as opportunity to turn towards your devotional services by developing Krishna's consciousness. You openly declare that one should surrender unto you, giving up all the other engagements, and that you will be take charge of him, giving him relief from the reactions of all sins. Still, the living entity remains attached to the material activities and suffer or enjoys the reaction without your interference. You are likely the desired tree in the heavenly planets, which award benedictions according to the one desires. Everyone is free to achieve the highest perfections, but if one does not so desire, then your awarding of less benediction is not due to the partiality. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Niraj Prabhu. Wonderful. So, so beautiful. Whenever I see these beautiful lines and so much of knowledge that is coming from the Pandavas. See, in Bhagavatam, on one side you can see Krishna's reciprocation and all that, but on the other side, it's also a glorification of the devotees. It's to see like we can step into the feet of the consciousness of the devotees and how they're relating to Krishna. These prayers are so important. These realizations of the devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam is what really purifies our mind as well. Because when we see like the thought process of Yudhishthira, how he is expressing himself to Krishna, that you are not partial to the Krishna conscious and different to a non-Krishna conscious person. So this is Krishna's kindness, right? So there are a lot of people who don't believe in God, they're atheists, and in fact, last week, I think a week back, there was one girl who came to the mandir, and so nicely she asked, "And can I see?" She came in the afternoon, so the darshan was closed. So I just took her upstairs. I gave her a nice darshan of the deities, Utsav Murtis. Then I gave her some nice books and all. Then she said, "Sorry, my friend is waiting outside." Then I said, like, yeah, bring him inside. Why is your friend waiting outside? No, he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in God and all that. And I was like quite surprised, like, yeah, okay, fine. Well, you can go to the Goshala as you wanted to go, and maybe you can come later, it's like. Then she came rushing back later and said, like, sorry, I don't have time for anything else also. I'm just leaving. So because of, see, the association of devotees and non-devotees, right? A devotee wants to get an atheist person also to the temple, but sometimes the devotees are so kind, they don't want to, kind of like hurt the other person, or make a discomfort to the other person. So in the process they'll end up going because the other person doesn't want to come inside the temple. Even she couldn't spend time and she had to leave it with that person. So sometimes but Krishna is so kind, like, just because of that devotee, he was able to at least come inside, at least to the temple, he get into the gate, and maybe he didn't come into the temple room, but at least he comes till there. But that is where the real fortune is, by the help of Krishna's devotees. The many people, they may not know the philosophy, but at least if you are able to have a Krishna conscious friend, by by that fortune, at least you will slowly get to know about Krishna. But Krishna is so kind that because somebody is an atheist or he doesn't believe in Krishna, it doesn't mean that Krishna is punishing him. Krishna makes it very clear in so many ways. He says, Mam hi partha vyapashritya ye pisyu papayo naha striyo vaishyas tata sudras tepi mam param gatim. Arjuna, everybody is eligible to take shelter of me. Everybody is eligible. They may be Kshatriyas. It's not that Krishna is only meant for Kshatriyas. He's not only meant for Brahmanas. He's not only meant for Vaishyas or Sudras. He says everybody can take shelter. It's not that it is not the right of only one particular community that they can only attain Krishna. And says, any Krishna gives assurance. Everybody can attain Krishna, take shelter of Krishna, and everybody is eligible to attain the supreme destination of Krishna. So it doesn't matter whether you're a Sudra, it doesn't matter whether you're a Kshatriya. Krishna doesn't look at that at all as a qualification. The only thing that Krishna wants to know is how much you love Krishna. And this is something which is very clear. And you are equal to everyone. That is your declaration. And this is something which we can learn from Bhagavad Gita also. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshi istina priya ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mai tesheshu chapyaham. Krishna makes it very clear. Arjuna, I am not partial to anyone. I am equal to everyone. I'm not envious of anyone. I'm not partial to anyone. I'm equal to everyone. Whether you're an atheist, whether you're a God lover, anybody, I'm same to one. But whoever is depending on Krishna, whoever is loving Krishna, for those people who are depending on Krishna, who loves Krishna with all their heart, for those devotee, Krishna says, I reciprocate those feelings, and I will be a friend to that person, and I will consider that devotee as a friend of mine. Imagine the Devadi Deva Sri Krishna saying that when you love Krishna, he considers you as a friend of his, and he wants to say that you are a friend of his. So what this is the kindness. So Krishna is only reciprocating. So if you don't want Krishna, let's say this person who came to the mandir but he doesn't want to come inside the temple room, and he just wants to walk away from there, Krishna doesn't say anything. Okay, I just cover. What does he say? Naham tistami yogamaya. I mean, he covers himself with yogamaya, right? So, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita. So he says, for those who are not interested in me, I covered with myself Yogamaya so that they don't need to even, for them, Krishna is not even visible also. But for a devotee, he'll be able to see Krishna everywhere, right? Just like Bhakt Prahlad. So Krishna is just reciprocating, is giving every living entity the chance to enjoy in this material world. The very fact that we came into this material world is because we want to enjoy on our own, and which is why Krishna is given this chance to enjoy this material world. And not only that, he's not just leaving us in this material world. He's coming along with us and sitting in our heart as Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He says, I'm your well-wisher, I'm your best friend, I'm sitting in your heart, and I'm doing everything that I can. I'm the one who's giving you your mind, intelligence. Sarvasya Chaham Siddhi Mata Smitirgya. I'm the one who's giving your mind. Your intelligence is coming from me, from your knowledge is coming. Everything is I'm giving. Even though you have forgotten me, I'm giving you everything. But at the same time, he's just giving you the results of whatever actions that we want to. If we want to come, if you want to turn, if you want to take this opportunity to turn towards devotional service, then Krishna does everything in his might to give you all the facility to serve him. And I can practically tell you, because I'm serving in the mandir, um, so many opportunities, so many opportunities. If you want to serve Krishna, there's so many ways Krishna keeps pulling you to just serve him in so many ways, depending on whatever skills that you have. Sometimes I get so amazed that I'm able to even preach for Krishna, I'm able to sing for Krishna, because I never even in my life thought I could do anything at all. I thought I don't have anything at all. But Krishna empowers. When you want to serve Krishna, he empowers you. And which is what here the Pandavas, we can see, right, why does Arjuna has such great skills? Because all the skills are coming from Krishna. He's the one who's giving the ability for Arjuna. He's the one who's giving all that, because they were completely dependent on him. So Krishna reciprocates. And here he's also saying, talking about that you openly declare one should surrender unto Krishna. And this is the final message that Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, right? What is his final signature in Bhagavad Gita? Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshisyami masuja. Arjuna, just surrender unto me. Forget about all your rituals and all these things. Just surrender unto me, and I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Okay, Masucha, for sure, he's assuring that you will definitely take care of her and give a reaction, relief from all the reactions in life. But people who want to enjoy, like there's a certain section of people who say, like, well, I don't believe in God, but I'm just doing my karma. So for those kind of a people, then the thing is, yes, you are doing your karma and you're thinking that, but every karma has a reaction that comes with it. So you will have to be born again to suffer or enjoy those reactions. And this is what is going on in our life. It's keeping on happening. We are coming again and again because we are attached to this material world. We have some desires, leftover desires, and so towards the end of our life, if our consciousness is still not satisfied, then Krishna gives you another chance to again be born and fulfill all your desires till you get frustrated, till you understand, till you realize that there is no actual happiness in this material world. It's all just an illusion, but our real happiness lies in serving Krishna. And when we understand that, when we practice it, then we get a chance to go back to Krishna Loka. Because Krishna is like, and if you really think about it, right, it makes sense, right? Krishna is saying, like, towards the end of your life, if you really badly love Krishna so much and you really want only Krishna, then Krishna says, then you're the right candidate to come back to Krishna Loka, because over there in Krishna Loka everybody is serving Krishna. But let's say if you still, your desires are there, that I want to enjoy this, I have so many desires that are unfulfilled, like they're not enjoyed. Oh, my consciousness is like, oh, I'm so attached to my house, I'm so attached to this partner, I'm so attached to my life. And so then Krishna says, okay, well, you are towards the end of your life, this is your consciousness, that you still feel some desires are left over and you have to enjoy it. So they come back. But again, if it's a devotee of Krishna, and if for some reason he's not able to complete his Krishna consciousness, then Krishna gives you a next life in such a way that you will be born in a Krishna conscious family, so that you will engage in Krishna Bhakti. And that's the reason why you see some young, very young guys, they take to Krishna Bhakti, because what's happening in the previous life, they have practiced from A to B, and in this life they're starting off from B to C. And that's the reason why you see, like, they pick up like anything. They pick up kirtans, they pick up in the spiritual knowledge. Why? It's because they left off somewhere and they're continuing from there. शरीरं यद् अवाप्नोति यच्चाप उत्क्रमति स्वरः गृहीत्वैतेन संयाति वायुर्गन्धम् इवासयेत्. Just like how the air carries aroma, the subtle body carries this consciousness, which is about your false ego, your false ego, your intelligence, your mind is carries this atma and then goes into the next life. So in your next life, it is not like a brand new life. You're just carrying forward your consciousness. Whatever your state of consciousness, whatever your kind of imprints that you're having, that's why Vayur Gandham Ivasiya, the smell, the samskaras, all this is getting carried forward to your next life. So this life is so important for us to correct our life, set the record straight. If you have any bad samskaras, cancel all the samskaras by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And because everything that we are doing in this satsang or in our Krishna conscious life, we are building the roadblocks for a next life, which is either going to be in Goloka Vrindavan, or it's going to be, we are already laying the foundation for a next life to be born as a devotee in a nice devotee family. This is the only thing that's going to happen, because Krishna rewards. Krishna says you have practiced it and you are still Krishna consciousness, then your next life is guaranteed to be a human life, and guaranteed that it's going to be born in a beautiful devotee family as well. So this is the kind of benediction that Krishna says. Whatever your consciousness towards the end of your life, that is according to that, your next life will start from there. So it is just getting to 9. I will just stop over here, and we'll take it in case if there's any questions or anything. Hare Krishna, everyone. Anyone would like to have add anything more?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very beautiful, Prabhuji. Very nice pastimes, Prabhuji. Okay, we got some questions from Neeraj Prabhuji. So,
Yes.
would you
In our
like to?
sessions, we often repeat Krishna's name and stories. How does the repetition help spiritual growth rather than becoming just habit or conditioning? Repetition helps spiritual growth, right? That's a beautiful name. That's a beautiful question, Neeraj Prabhuji. It's so important to have our questions very clearly. So, so we have to understand the power of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, because which is and power of the Krishna Katha, because the instructions whatever we are speaking now, and whatever which I'm mentioning from Bhagavad Gita, is basing on what Krishna is telling us in Bhagavad Gita, right? And what Krishna is telling in the form of a devotee called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are taking, so Krishna was saying one thing in Bhagavad Gita, and we can see that Krishna again comes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to tell us the result of chanting the holy name or the result of hearing Krishna Katha? How is it different? How does it help in spiritual growth? It helps in spiritual growth because right now Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam tayapahirata chetasa vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhavana vidiyate. So when we come into this material world, we come with a certain mindset. And Krishna says, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam, which means when our consciousness is so much after running after sense enjoyment, when our consciousness is completely contaminated with material opulences, like you can relate, of course, I think you can relate to what I'm saying, that when we come into this material world, let's say if we are not in Krishna consciousness, what is the state of our mind? We want to enjoy life, we want to enjoy nice things, we want to enjoy material opulences and all that. So Krishna is saying when your mindset and your consciousness is contaminated with all these material opulences and sense enjoyment, then the desire for doing bhakti doesn't come up in your life. So you will remain in the same state of your mindset and your consciousness, which will be completely contaminated, and you indulge yourself in more karmic activities because of which you again take another birth and come back into this. But what is happening by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but what is happening by listening to Krishna Katha, as Bhagwan Sri Krishna himself is saying, that by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvarpanam. He says, like your heart, which is full of these anarthas, samskaras, and everything will get cleansed. So which means your this repetition, how does it help the spiritual growth? Is it will help your spiritual growth because you are a spiritual soul, and being a spiritual soul, you're supposed to be happy, you're supposed Sat Chit Ananda, you're eternal, you're full of knowledge and full of bliss, but you're not having that realization because you're covered by this material consciousness. So by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, your all that covering is removed, and you will be able to understand your true self, because just like a mirror which is full of dirt, you cannot see yourself. By chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, your heart will be purified, your mind will be purified, and that will help you in your spiritual growth and in awakening your true identity, that I am a Atma and I belong to the Paramatma. And by listening to the Harikatha also, because when you're listening, one of the important forms of devotional service, the very first one that Bhakta Prahlad mentions is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. First one is hearing. So by hearing the Krishna Katha, which is actually a divine transcendental leelas of Krishna, this spiritual katha which is entering into your ears goes into your mind and your heart, and it will cleanse and it will it will completely purifies your consciousness. So this human life is meant for bhakti, it is meant for a higher purpose, to get rid of all the samskaras, to cleanse all your anarthas, cleanse your all bad karma. So all your, as Krishna is mentioning, when we are surrendering to Krishna by chanting his name, by listening to Krishna Katha, how are we surrendering? By chanting, by listening to Krishna Katha, by doing all these things, we are completely cleansing ourselves, and that's how we are trying to, grow in our spiritual life. Where Krishna says towards the end of your life, if you're able to continue chanting and continue listening to Krishna Katha, you'll be completely purified. And in that mode of pure Sattva Guna, right? Pure Sattva Guna, in that Suddha Sattva Guna, as we call it. And that is the perfect platform to you go back to the spiritual world. In fact, Krishna makes it very clear towards the end of your life, if you're in that Sattva Guna, then you go to the higher planets. And if you're worshipping Krishna, you go back to Krishna Loka. But if you are in the mode of Rajoguna, then you come back to the earthly planets, because you're not learned anything spiritually. So your spiritual growth, how much you have grown spiritually, depends on your state of how your gunas that we are at the time of death. At the time when you are in Sattva Guna, then you go to higher planets. If you are in Rajoguna, then you come back to the earthly planets. If you're there in Tamoguna, then you go to the animal kingdom, or you go to the animal planet, or you can go to the hellish planet. So that way we can see like how by practicing the spiritual growth, the result, the final examination is towards the end of your life. And not just as a habit, or you conditioning you think, rather than becoming just a habit, it is not a this is actually, like they say, like good habits or bad habits, as you keep repeating it, they become habits, and they shape your character and everything, right? So this is a positive condition, this is a spiritual conditioning that you're doing. Even we are conditioning ourselves by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We are conditioning our consciousness, but this is pure, we are conditioning ourselves to bring to a state of pure consciousness. That is the difference. And it
Yeah.
is not about just repeating the mantra, because if you repeat Coke and Pepsi every day, let's say if you're chanting Coke and Pepsi, nothing is happening because it's just a material world. But when you're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this mantra is coming from the spiritual world. Golokara Premadane Harinama Sankirtan, which is coming to the spiritual world. And Krishna is invested all his Nija Sarva Shakti, all his Shaktis are invested in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that mantra, if you're chanting, what happens is it purifies you, and towards the end of the life, Lord Krishna says. So both he tells in Bhagavad Gita as Krishna himself, and he comes again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to once again reiterate the Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavana Maha Davagni Nirpan and awakening of Krishna Bhakti. So the whole point of chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you can see the spiritual growth in a way that you will. Krishna says about that particular state in in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Because when you're completely cleansed and you completely the love for Krishna is awakened in your heart, then you'll reach the state of Brahma Bhuta consciousness, which means that you will no more hankering and no more lamenting. You'll be very in a happy state. Why no more hankering and more lamenting? Because one of the side effects of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is, along with cleansing your samskaras and all that, it also reduces your propensity to sin in this material world. You see, in the when you're not chanting the Hare Krishna Muhammad, when you're living in this material world, we do so many sinful things, like the four sinful things, like intoxication, gambling, and meat eating, and all these. These are all the ones which are we are committing all these sins. So because of which you come. But what Hare Krishna Mahamantra is, it reduces your propensity to that itching that you have normally to enjoy all these things. That itching and that propensity, it will reduce. So as this itching reduces and as you keep chanting increases, your consciousness is purified, and this is what Krishna is saying. Udared atmanam avasadayet atmaiva hay atmano bandhur atmaya ripur atmanah. One must elevate himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So that mind has to be purified, and that's how your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. So using this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are daily purifying, we are cleansing. So it is not just a stagnant thing. It is not something just a habit. It's not just simply like that, just doing it as a habit. But without your knowledge, every time you're chanting, what you're doing is you are completely reducing all these things. Your sins are getting destroyed, your samskars are getting reduced. You don't realize that towards the end of your life, this is what is the result of practicing Krishna consciousness. So it is not just about habit or anything like that. And I hope Niraj Prabhu, is that okay?
Yeah. That's answer my question. That's the second question I have is:
Ah.
do we have faith in Krishna or blind belief in Krishna?
Okay, yeah. So the different deep faith in Krishna and a blind belief. Yeah. So again, so the they say like the proof is in the pudding, right? They say the proof is in the pudding. So when Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, and we're listening to the Krishna Katha, and when you actually because our faith is not blind faith, our faith is backed by transcendental knowledge of the scriptures, based on the knowledge that is given by our spiritual master. So it is not simply that out of blind faith, like something there is a Brahman kind of, because even in spirituality there are some people, it goes in different stages, right? Some people believe that it's all Brahman, and they when you go to the next stage, people think that yes, there is a Paramatma, and then at the next stage, final stage, you realize that there is Bhagavan. So this faith also grows in stages. So as you keep practicing Krishna consciousness, Krishna starts giving you that kind of experiences where you realize that it's not just plain or blind, because you are practicing it. You are scientifically practicing it. Take the example of the Beatles, right? The Beatles, George Harrison. He gave us a beautiful temple called this Bhaktivedanta Manor, which
Mhm.
but how did he give just based on blind faith? No. He
Mhm.
actually met the spiritual master. He got all the knowledge from the spiritual master. He was practicing Krishna consciousness. In fact, he himself gave a testimony saying that when he went to Europe, he was practicing Krishna consciousness and he was practicing chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. For 3 days, he was continuously chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he gave his own testimony that I was still not satisfied. I still want to chant more and more and more. And I was still feeling fresh And I couldn't believe myself that Krishna is the Krishna consciousness can make you so happy. So you can test it. Krishna consciousness is just not based on blind faith at all. It is based on transcendental knowledge. It is based on scriptures and knowledge that our guru is giving, spiritual master is giving. So as you keep practicing Krishna consciousness, you keep understanding that. You can realize it yourself. You can realize it when you keep away from all the four sinful things, when you associate with the devotee. That's why we give this ABCD program in Krishna consciousness. A means associate with all the devotees. When you be with all the devotees, then you can understand and enjoy the joy of Krishna consciousness. And then B, when you start reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, that knowledge that then you will be able to realize so many things. And this knowledge is realized knowledge. It's not a blind knowledge. It's not Krishna is saying like just shut up and listen to her. No. Krishna says towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, I'm giving you this knowledge, contemplate about it, think about it, and then take the right decision to it. So Krishna himself is telling, just think about whatever I'm saying. So it makes you think. And C is chanting. So A for association, B for books, Bhagavad Gita, C for chanting, and finally D for devotional service, which means if you want to understand the Lord, start serving the Lord. And when you serve the Lord and when He gives you that kind of realization, that kind of experiences, then you will be able to understand what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yata mam prapajyanti tam stataiva bhajamyam. According to how much you are surrendering to Krishna, Krishna also give you such kind of experiences which will make you realize. Yeah?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, really nice.
So here actually Prabhuji has very nicely given us Amoga Prabhu as always very pure nectar where he is mentioning about the holy name is Krishna himself because
Kalikale Namarupe Krishna.
yeah, Kalikale Namarupa Krishna Avatar. As we all know, Krishna not only comes in different incarnations, but in Kali Yuga, he comes in the form of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Abhinnatvam Nami Nami, which I was telling, like, there is no difference between seeing the Krishna on the altar in the temple or chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is no difference between that. So when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should understand that this is not just a Mahamantra, but this is the Nama avatar of Krishna. So it's directly we are associating with Krishna. So just like a nice analogy has been given by Prabhuji, just like repeatedly sitting in sunlight gradually warms the body, repeatedly chanting awakens the soul's dominant devotion. So that's a beautiful one. So like I said, the third one is so the three stages which I'm saying by chanting, one, all the dust on your mirror like heart get cleansed, and Davagni Nirbapana, which means all the material anxieties and all samskaras, anarthas, everything gets destroyed. And the third thing, most important thing, as Prabhuji has mentioned, the most important thing, it awakens the soul's dominant devotion. There's love in everybody's heart. When that love is awakened, then you yourself will realize that Krishna consciousness and going to the temple, serving Krishna, doing this, everything for Krishna, giving you more joy than anything else in this material world. Like I literally, I have not become from like I'm not being like in the ashram or anything like that. But I can tell you, like being in the IT world, and then again that particular weekends going and serving Krishna was giving me much more happiness than all the whole week of earning money and doing all these things. So as you keep progressing, Krishna kind of gives you that kind of an experiences. And the name is consciousness and purifying. Right, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha is the pure spiritual consciousness, and every repetition purifies. So it is not just a habit or a bland conditioning, Neeraj Prabhu. It does so many things. Like just like when you take a medicine, it may give you so many things. Or if you take a fruit, you're enjoying the fruit, it's giving you energy, and it's bringing a glow on your face. So many things, when we have something, there's so many side effects of it. Similarly, the chanting, it purifies the heart, removes the anattas, awakens bhakti, which is what I was just mentioning, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So all these different things are happening. And the habit, and yes, Krishna conscious people also, we are habitual, but this is a this is a positive habit, this is spiritual habit, which is helping us not only clearing our consciousness, it's also laying the roadblocks for our next life, which I was telling, a spiritual life. What is the aim of Krishna consciousness? To come out of this material world and get back our original eternal life, our spiritual body, and go back to Krishna Loka. Material habits bind us, but spiritual repetition liberates. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And when devotees repeatedly hear the names, pastimes, qualities, the consciousness becomes Krishna conscious centered, and this creates spiritual impressions. They gradually transform that. So this is the very important Nama Rupa Leela Guna. We have to understand the names of Krishna. We have to understand the pastimes of Krishna, the qualities, everything. So all those things we will create a spiritual impression. They gradually transform, and the taste awakens over time. Yeah. So this is the thing, right? It's not like one fine day we'll wake up and become Valmiki or something like that. It's just it's a beautiful journey actually. Just take the case of Valmiki for example. What was Valmiki? Valmiki was a robber. He was a bandit. He used to kill animals, kill people, and things like that. What happened? Once he started chanting Lord Ram's name, he became so purified that even before Ramayana started, he started writing Ramayana. How did he become such a great devotee? He was just a robber and a bandit. How come he became like this? That is the power of the holy name, and the taste awakens over time. So this is what it is. Over a period of time, then you become, as you keep, just like a simple thing. If you be with some people who drink in the pubs, if you go and join with them, slowly you'll become a drunkard, and then slowly after that you go and meet people who are taking drugs, then you will become another drug addict. So from one end to another end, you'll end up becoming a drunkard, and then in another intoxicant and a drug taker. So like that, even when you are associating with the Lord, it happening in stages. It's always like a spiral, bhakti life, like a spiral. You're hearing Krishna Katha, you're getting a taste of Krishna Katha, and you're being with the devotees, and then you're engaging in bhajan kriya, sadhu sangha. Like here it is so nicely mentioned, Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajan kriya. All these are all the stages we go through. And finally, when you go to the final stage of pure Krishna Katha, Krishna prema awakening in your heart, and that's the ultimate success of life. So our goal of life, our success of life, to purify our mind and our consciousness to such an extent that we can think of nothing else but Krishna towards the end of life. Because only in that state of consciousness where we are only thinking of Krishna and we only want Krishna towards the end of life, and then we are the right ripened candidate to go back to Krishna Loka. And that's the main ultimate goal of life, which is what Prabhupada is mentioning about. Nama Chintamani Krishna. This is what I've mentioned earlier. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Purna Siddho Nitya Mukta Abhinatvam Nami Namine. Yeah, this is the one. Faith is based on knowledge of Shastra, so beautifully mentioned. Amoga Prabhuji, can I request if you can just keep it on our this thing, Prabhuji, on our channel as well, so that we just for
Yeah,
reference for
sure,
all of us.
Prabhuji.
That would be really helpful for all of it. This is a beautiful Prabhuji. So in a nutshell, so nicely is mentioned. Faith is, like I said, our faith is not blind faith. Our faith is based on transcendental knowledge of the Shastras like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitam, Charamamta, and again like Chaitanya Prabhupada used to mention, Bhagavad Gita is like, ABCD of the spiritual knowledge, and Bhagavatam, like, your graduation, and next you have the post graduation, like that. This is a step by step process. Like in the beginning, we are chanting one round, and then later we slowly progress and we start chanting 16 rounds you know and so as you keep increasing your this thing, Krishna keeps reciprocating. Ye yatamam prapajyante tam stataiva bhajam. According to your level of surrender to Krishna, Krishna says, I also reciprocate. And that we can know through the Bhagavatam and about the devotee stories and realization to practice. Exactly, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Again, this is what we are trying to do. So Neeraj Prabhu, you are in the right place where to answer your questions. This is what actually is answering your question by attending the Krishna Katha, listening to the devotees, listening to the beautiful realizations of all the devotees. This is how you slowly increase your faith in Krishna. Yeah. And through your
Yeah,
own sadhana. So
yeah.
that's why
Hare
the
Krishna,
Guru,
Prabhuji.
Sadhu, Shastri. See, perfect, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastri. This is what it is. You have to listen to a spiritual master, and best way to serve the spiritual master is to follow his instructions. What are his instructions? To chant the Hare Krishna Mantra. So by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you're pleasing Krishna by the Prabhupada, and when Prabhupada is pleased, Krishna is pleased. You see? So that way, that's the right way, and being with the saintly devotees who give you the taste of Krishna consciousness. So yeah, so these are the things which we had to, and so nicely mentioned. Prabhuji has
And
so
one
beautifully
of the
given.
examples, realistic examples from the Shastra, Yannamadeya Savananuketana Jat Prahavanad Jat Varanadapi Kvatit Swadopi Sadhya Savanai Kalpate Kutaha Punaste Bhagavannu Darshana. So Yannamadeya Sravananuketana
Mm.
Jat Prahavanad. Yes, Shravanad. So just hearing the names of the Lord and chanting the names of Swadopi Sadhyaha Savanaya Kalpate. Even though dog eater can be elevated to perform yajnas and sacrifices. Swadopi Sadhyaha Savanaya Kalpate. How do we understand? Practically, we see Western people, they're all mlechas, Yavanas and mlechas. Now they're performing so many yajnas and sacrifices, they become the gurus as well. For example, my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he is from UK. So he is so exalted. Now he is being worshipped by so many people in India. So how it is possible? So it is a practical example. Yadnamadaya Sravananaketana, Yat Prahavna, Yes Smaranadapi Kochit, even though at Kochit at any point of time. Swadopi Sadhyaha Savanaya Kalpate. Kutaha Punaste Bhagavan Darpinath. What to speak of the people who are already engaging and dedicated themselves unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So
Yeah.
these are all practical examples.
Beautiful, Prabhuji. Yes, very nice, Prabhuji. So, yeah, this I've heard narrated Prabhuji as you know, this very one important thing also from Bhagavad Gita. You can note Prachaksavagamam dharmyam susukam kartamabhyam. Krishna says like, so this knowledge, like as you were saying, how do I understand? You know, it's like it's a spiritual. Is it like just some conditioning or habit, or is it like so? Krishna is saying that you can experience it. So Krishna consciousness is not a static thing or just a simple blind thing. It is something which you can practice and experience. That's why Krishna is saying this knowledge that Krishna is giving in Bhagavad Gita, Pratyaksabagamam dharmam. Susukam kartamabhyam. He says it can be directly experienced. You can experiencing it by practicing it. You yourself can have a personal experience. Because I can tell you so much of philosophy, but if you practice it, you yourself can realize that philosophy. You can yourself can see the results of that. And susukam kartamavyam. Krishna also saying like this. He made it so. This Krishna consciousness is susukam kartam. It's so beautifully, it's so joyfully performed. But because why is it so difficult to just happily to do a nice kirtan and just chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, do some bhajan? It's not difficult, isn't it? So it can be nicely, happily practiced. And it is supported, like as Prabhuji has so nicely mentioned, supported by scriptures and philosophy. It's the deep faith is supported. You get the deep faith when you're supported by scriptures and philosophy, strengthening by realization to practice and encourages sincere inquiry. So these are the things. So this is a most scientific religion, Neeraj Prabhu. What we are practicing is the very, very scientific religion. That's why Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Imam Vivasvate Yogam. The science of yoga I'm giving you, which is not available anywhere else in the world. What we have actually come to the place where among the devotees we are discussing the highest philosophy in the world, best philosophy in the world. Savai pumso paro dharmo yato bhaktir ajokshajaha. Srila Prabhupada used to quote from Srimad Bhagavatam. The first class religion is a religion which tells you how to love God without having any motives, and which is what we are trying to practice here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sham, can I just add in something there as
Yeah.
a personal experience?
Yeah.
Okay. Neeraj Prabhu, I don't know if I've met you or not, but Sham knows me quite well. I came 3 years ago to Krishna consciousness, broken. Okay. And I'll tell you one thing, I've learned a lot. Okay. It is a spiritual place. And like he says, they give you the starting point, and it's for us to basically carry on. Okay. And they are there to support us. Okay. Sham Prabhu's there. A lot of the Swamis, go to the lectures and all that. And the Bhagavad Gita is just an amazing book. Whatever's written in there is coming true. Okay. So, yeah, just keep on practicing, chant, read the books. There's also free magazines we'll see at the reception there, which people bring back if you read those as well. And it's just amazing. I mean, I hardly watch telly now because my dharma or my telly is Krishna consciousness. I can't remember when was the last time I watched Netflix or anything like that. If anything I watch is the Mahabharata on YouTube, but that's it. I might listen a little bit to the news see what's going on around the world, and that's it. The rest is, Krishna consciousness. What else do we need in this world? We want to go back to Godland. And the only way we're going to get there is by doing the ABCD.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
excellent, Paritosh Prabhu. Thank you so much
Excellent.
for sharing that. It
Excellent.
was
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
very,
Really
very
nice
nice.
example. Yeah.
Very nice, Paritosh Prabhu, for sharing. And I can tell you from practical experience, like Prabhuji, we always want to know, like, how is it really practical? I can tell you from so many beautiful experiences, like, like today's experience. I was speaking about how Krishna is so kind that towards the end of our life, if we think about him, he will take us back. And if you don't remember him, and if you're a devotee of Krishna, Krishna says, I will remember my devotee and take him back.
Yeah.
And when I said that, somebody who was actually grieving her brother's death, she really found some solace in that. And she came and told me, like, it's so touching to hear this. So sometimes it is so amazing to see that why did I pick up that topic only today in front of them only? So sometimes as we keep practicing Krishna consciousness, sometimes Krishna uses you as an instrument to deliver something to someone. So you are just like that postal man, you're giving that message to somebody.
Yeah.
So if you can be that instrument in the hands of Krishna, there can't be anything more joyful than that, to thank Krishna. So Krishna is giving an opportunity that if you can serve me, you can be an instrument in my plan. So like he's telling Arjuna, if you be an instrument in my plan, I already decided that all of this Mahabharat, this Kurukshetra is going to happen. You like it or don't like it, it doesn't matter. This is going to happen because the very purpose Krishna came is to put an end to all this. But if you want to, you can be an instrument in my plan. That's why he says in the middle, he says, Arjuna, you're just an instrument. You are just an instrument. I'm just using you because you're my pure devotee. I'm just using you for my purpose of this. And if all of us, if we can become that Krishna consciousness, be a small instrument, play a small role in Krishna's plan, then that's it. Krishna takes. If we do everything for my this thing, then I bear the consequences and but that karma. But if you do everything for Krishna and be part of his plan, then Krishna says, I will take care of you. Just like a king, if you're working for the king, the king will say, well, you're working for the king. Don't worry. I'm going to take care of you. Your pension, retirement, everything, I'll take care. So like that, just what to speak of the Devadi Deva, Sri Krishna Bhagavan. Imagine if you're serving
Yeah.
him, then what is our state? So this is what we have to realize, and that realization comes, and we can see all those practical examples, like how Krishna uses it, and you will not suddenly you will think, and something happens in the temple, and you'll find like exactly somebody was looking for that, and you will be in particular lecture, and you will get that message to you, and so somebody Krishna is dropping that message through you through that lecture. So like all these things are like if you take the one step, Krishna is giving you through somebody who's giving you one message. Many times I've seen that when you're listening to a lecture, you are just badly thinking of something, and somebody is delivering that through a lecture. So like that. Yeah, thank you so
And
much. It's
and
wonderful.
sorry, one last thing I'll tell you, Neresh Prabhu, is whatever is written is not stories that are written, it's the truth. Okay, they're not made up or anything like that. Okay, it's Krishna talking to Arjun, and then obviously translated down, but it's the real thing. It's not like a fiction book or a non-fiction book or anything like that. It's there, written down for us to appreciate this. I wish I had gone into Krishna consciousness many years ago, but it's never too late.
Never too late.
So yeah, all the best. All the best. We're always there.
Yeah.
All the
Krishna,
best.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much.
Sam, well done. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Once
thank you,
again.
Paritosh Prabhu. Sorry, I just holding back from any
No, it's fine.
comments by. No, I'm just looking at Gauring Devi Mataji or Gayatri Mataji, Indulekha Mataji. Sorry, is there anything would you like to add? Sorry, just we went a bit.
Gayatri Mataji was hand raised.
Oh, Gayatri Mataji. Yeah, Gayatri Mataji. Is there anything you wanted to?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry Prabhuji, I was just thinking when ABCD, when we are talking about ABCD, usually D is for diet, and also because we eat, we are what we eat. So we have to eat the right sattvic food. That's what
Yeah.
I just say,
Yeah, yeah,
Prabhuji.
definitely. And the diet also. I because of course we can say D and D.
Yes, yes, D&D.
D&D because devotional service also is very, very important actually while we are while we're serving Krishna and in some form or the other serving the devotees or serving this thing. But yeah, definitely you got a very important point. Diet is also so important. We don't like Prabhupada mentions we are not vegetarian, we're Krishnatarians. So that's what yeah. Nice
Sorry.
point to guide
B
you.
is for bhakti, is it?
What's that?
B is for bhakti, yeah?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
books,
yeah,
books, is
books,
it
books
books?
actually, books,
Yeah, books, sorry. Yeah, I got it, thanks.
Association of Devotees, books and chanting and devotion. Like as
Yeah.
Mataji is saying, diet as well, Krishna diet. Thank you, Mataji. That was really nice. Anything else in the Liku Mataji, in Rajalakshmi Mataji, Pawan Prabhu, anyone like to add anything else before we close?
Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhu,
Thank
it was
you.
wonderful session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this nice class. As always, I will not take long time, but yeah, I am amazed of how you are interacting with people at the manner. And to my understanding, you will be the best Shiksha Guru, and your student will go to be higher than you. Because whatever we think, like sometimes we preach to some people, sometimes we connect them to Krishna consciousness. Sometimes when are we so happy then? When we see them growing in their spiritual life, then we are very happy. Just like when a teacher is teaching a child, the teacher's aim is, the goal is to make the child become perfect, go higher. That is what we look into, and I'm sure you are doing the same. Thank you so much. Another thing is, the person who didn't get into the temple, but came into the ground of the temple, on the premises of the temple, next life is guaranteed for him to be some devotee. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Beautiful,
Thank you so
Mataji.
much.
This is what I really enjoy in our devotee association, the pure nectar that devotees share the realization. That's so true, Mataji, because in an 80-acre land, he just came and at least he didn't come inside the temple room, but we at least came till the temple. So he entered the gate.
Yeah, we should not be looking at the negative side. Yes, he came. At least he came.
Yeah.
For now, he hasn't got the sukriti to see the Lord.
Yeah.
Yes, people may argue, oh, what is happening? I don't want to go. But the sukriti is not there. The pious deed is not there. Once you get it, then there is no one to stop you.
No one to
There's
stop
no
you.
way to be stopped.
Absolutely,
Hare Krishna.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, these are all different experiences, Mataji, and sometimes I'm like, how do we relate to this? Like how, and later that Mataji got in touch with me and she said, like, can you add me to the groups? I want to come and serve as volunteer and all that. I was like, wow, this is really nice, actually, that she's strong enough that even though her friend is atheist, still she wants to continue and become a volunteer and then serve as well. So that was very pleasing to me, and I gave her all the information. I said, like, yeah, I'll support you in whatever volunteer service you want to do. Thank you, Dilek Mataji. I really am so humbled by your words, and thank you so much for your encouragement. I'm just sharing because this is our platform to share with our devotees and our experiences and things like that. Some things are very touching. So I feel like, I should share about some of the people who come to our mandir and how much they look forward to us to support them in their journey. So thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, Pawan Prabhu, you were mentioning something?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, nothing I was saying, like, it was a really good session. And yeah, thank you very much for today. And as Mataji mentioned about diet, that was actually I experienced in my life. So when I was into really like bhakti and chanting everything, suddenly if I eat at maybe a friend's house or somewhere who is a non-devotee, or if we have to go out to eat with friends, so if I eat, even though it's a vegetarian food, if I eat outside in restaurant, so next day my bhakti will not be stable. I've personally seen that, so I realized like why it happens is like the person who cooks that, he might be at different conscious at that moment. He might be stressed and he might be thinking something else, and then that's going to transfer to the food. And if we have the food, that's going to affect our mind. So that's when I realized personally by experiencing like why diet is important.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing, Pawan Prabhu. That's really amazing. In fact, I was just one of the Western devotees came, and when I was telling her, like, just imagine you're killing an animal, and what is the state of, that animal? So much of toxic get rid of because she knows that she's going to get killed, and all
Yeah.
that goes into the blood, and then you are just cutting and eating that, and so all that negativity and all the toxic enters into your body. And she was like totally alarmed, like, oh my God, what am I doing, kind of thing. She was like, oh, that is so true. I like all this, and she was like literally listening, like, oh my God, that is so true. Actually, we have got to be so careful. I'm saying, like, so that's the thing, right? And then you want to be happy, and somehow, and the higher the nervous system, because a cow is it's such an evolved animal, such a beautiful
Yeah.
animal, and you're going and doing something to a cow. It again, the state of consciousness is different. It's not the same of animals versus plants. There is life in both, but over here it's at the highest level, and the pain is severe especially when the cow is get killed. So it's just ignorance, isn't it? Because just out of ignorance they get it on the table and they say, God, please, thank you for giving us this food, and without realizing that actually God is not going to be happy about it. So yeah.
Prabhuji, one thing they don't realize that they say, thank you, they preach to Jesus Christ, thank you, God. But Jesus Christ never said, he said, thou shalt not kill. And if he said that, he would have written, thou shalt not kill animal, or thou shalt not kill man. He just left it. He wrote a big Bible. He had everything. He could add this bit, but he left it. That means thou shalt not kill anyone, anything.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Mataji, that is such an important point. But you seen that video where Srila Prabhupada was having a conversation with the priest, and he
Yes.
thinks that animals don't have a soul. So
And that was so funny. I can understand French. I speak French, and that was so funny. The
it
way
was so.
he
I
was
mean,
so
I was just
nonchalant.
like, Prabhupada was schooling him like how a
Yes.
teacher schools a child. It's like,
Yes.
what do you mean? What do you mean? So they're all automatic and like it's like
Yeah.
solar powered or something? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you,
so
Prabhuji. Thank
yeah,
you. Thank
that's a
you.
level of ignorance, and so that's why I mean that level of that's so Prabhupada so nicely given. Like why do you have to keep begging for bread and all that? God is giving bread to and everything for life for everyone, like including animals and all that. Why do you have to keep begging for that? And then you get all these things and keeping it on your table and telling God, please bless this. And why would God bless something like that? There is a God who's equal to everyone. Then why would He be happy about it? So yeah, Mataji, it's funny things to happen. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Such a joy to be with all of us, our devotees. Just like in the middle of the week, it's like a beautiful time to connect once again and discuss Krishna Katha. And it's pure nectar always whenever with the devotees. And it can go on and on. We are up to 42 chapters, 72 chapters. And I can't believe, like, how much we absorb, and slowly we are like, absorbing all this nectar and going step by step. But definitely, this journey is so beautiful with all of you. Thank you so much for giving your association. I feel so humbled, so thankful for that.
Prabhuji, Rajalakshmi Mataji.
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
It's a very wonderful session, Prabhu. It is very nice and nicely delivered, because, yeah, it's very heart-touching points, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Because sometimes I share real-time stories and what is happening with us in the temple, because these are like
Yeah.
live. They're happening in the temple, and today I was serving in the temple, and I just came in the evening. So these things are in my mind still, and I'm just writing my diary at the end before I sleep, telling that how the day went and how we meet these people and how much they look after that. And it was so interesting. She sat in front of Prabhupada, and she said, Prabhu, would you mind if I record? I'm going to do a video recording. Can you please, whatever you told me about death and life and like how Krishna takes care, can you please speak about that? I'll take a small video and share it with my family. They're just grieving and they need some solace like this. And I was like, so touched. I said, like, Mataji, please go ahead and do that. Just take the video. I will just explain to this whole thing, and please take it and share it. So whichever way we can, I feel so humbled. And I say, Krishna, just use me like whatever instrument I can, just if you can help people and give them that peace of mind. Everybody like losing a loved one, losing a brother who's dead, deaf and dumb, and is a great devotee. What can be more painful for someone? So if we can do whatever service, bring some joy, some peace of mind for them, whatever. So that's why I try to share
That
some
is very
real-time
divine,
stories.
Prabhu. Yeah, yeah. And also surrendering to Krishna and
Yeah.
begging him to use ourselves as his instrument is a very wonderful message, honestly.
That's
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the most success of life, Mataji. Like if you can do a
Yeah.
little bit, and Krishna
Yeah.
not expecting that you leave everything, leave your family, do that, and then you surrender. He's simply saying swalpam abhyasya, little bit of service if you do. I'll write it in my diary that this devotee, and he will never
Yeah.
forget us in our lives. Swalpam abhyasya, little bit you do. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
Krishna says.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Perfect, Prabhu. Thank you so much,
yeah,
Prabhu. Hare
thank,
Krishna.
thank you
Yeah.
so much, Prabhuji. We'll end the session today. Sorry to taking more time. We'll do the final thing.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, one chekal
Hey, can we all do three Lord
Yes.
Hari Bol to Shyam Prabhuji, please?
Haribo.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari Haribo.
Hari
Well
Bol.
My
done.
pranams to all of our
Thank you,
wonderful
Prabhuji.
devotees. My pranams to all our wonderful devotees who are just giving your
Shyam
sense of
Prabhuji ki.
Jai.
Hey.
Vanchikal Patarubhyascha.
Patarapatabhyasya Grahanam
Pashintanta eva cha
Pranam
patitanam
Pavane
Namo
Namo
pavanebhyo
Namo
Namo Vaishnavrinda ki.
Jai.
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki.
ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna devotees. We'll see next week.
Hare
Take
Krishna
care.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Thank you.
Very
everyone.
nice.
Well done. Thank you.